How are we, my friends? You are very welcome along to Sunday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. In this video, we're going to speak about Marc Guéhi and his potential move to the Reds. We're going to talk about Malik Fofana and the fact that his price tag is now being set. A little bit on Warren Zaïre-Emery, as it looks as if PSG are willing to part with him for a certain fee. And of course, a bit on Darwin Núñez and his proposed move to Napoli. So all of that and more to come over the next few minutes. But we want to know your thoughts as always, my friends. So do let us know in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget, we will be back tonight, 8:45 for the late night agenda, where we'll go through this and lots more in greater detail. Right, let's get cracking. So we're going to start off with a bit on Marc Guéhi from Sami Mokbel of the BBC. And Sami has written that if Palace value Guéhi at a price that Premier League champions Liverpool deem fair, and Liverpool enter the discussions at a figure that the Londoners don't perceive as lowballing, then that could open the door towards a successful and amicable negotiation. With that in mind, he said the point of formal contact between the two clubs will likely be crucial towards whether Marc Guéhi ends up at Anfield. Now, what I would say here is, I don't really disagree with what Sami has written, but ultimately, Palace know they have to sell him this summer or lose him for free. And Palace aren't a Manchester United, a Liverpool, a Chelsea, a City, who can maybe afford to let a player like that run down a deal. They're going to have to bring in the money. And I understand they don't want to be lowballed. I get that. We're in a similar position with Canade, but ultimately, there will be a number, and it's a matter of whether Liverpool get there or not. Want to just talk really quickly before I move on to the next news story, though, about some of the comments in the videos about, well, me actually giving FSG a little bit of credit in this window. Sometimes I wonder what I can do to win with certain people commenting. I will call out FSG or anybody else when I don't think that they're pulling their weight, but it would be unfair of me to my audience and, of course, just in general, to not credit people when they do stuff well. I'm not here just to be critical. I will criticise a player for a poor performance. I'll criticise owners for lack of investment, but when they step up, I have to be fair about these things. And again, if they make a mess of the rest of this window, I won't be shy about talking about it. But if I didn't come on here and say, well done so far, I think I wouldn't be doing anybody a justice. It'd be an injustice to everybody that watches. So I'm giving you my honest views as always, and appreciate those of you that understand that. Right, let's get cracking on. Again, Sami Mokbel, he said, there are indications, though, that the South London club may be willing to accept a deal of between 40 and 45 million pound for Marc Guéhi. I think Liverpool, like I've said, will probably come in about 30. Palace will want above the 45. And Liverpool and Palace will probably meet somewhere between 35 and 40 million. That is my guess on how this one ends up. But let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. Now, Darwin Núñez. This story just keeps making me chuckle because it keeps saying something like this. Darwin Núñez is ready to join Napoli, but the club are unwilling to pay Liverpool's asking price. Right? I'm ready to leave my wife and go marry Mila Kunis, but doesn't mean it's going to happen. Although if she listens to this video, it might well be not my choice anymore, but you get the point. Either way, we know that Liverpool will have a valuation for Darwin, and if they don't want to pay it, so be it. But ultimately, this is why you don't waste your time spending all this time talking with Darwin and his camp and meetings back and forth. Liverpool are going to want a fee. Some people think it's £70 million. I think the fee is lower than that. I think the figures of around 40 million from Napoli versus the 50 million Liverpool want are probably closer to it. But they do have a backup, as we mentioned yesterday. So Napoli are either going to have to put up or shut up. Now, we mentioned Warren Zaïre-Emery. This piece here actually links Manchester United with him, but come on. If they spend £85 million on him, £65 million on Mbeumo, and then, of course, the money on Matheus Cunha, United fans should be marching on Old Trafford about the staff that Ratcliffe let go. Because if they're able to spend this much money, how are they having to fire hard-working people for the mistakes above them? And I get United will be selling some players, but come on, £85 million for Zaïre-Emery. Surely United don't have that money. That is the price, though, and Liverpool have also been interested, which is why I'm bringing him up in this video. They say £85 million is the number. I don't think he's worth that. I don't think he's worth anywhere close to that. He's a fringe player at PSG, and for me, very good footballer. Love the links to Liverpool, but £85 million is just absolute nonsense when it comes to the figures. And clubs are getting carried away. They're losing the run of themselves in this window. Some of the transfer targets and the figures being put out there are just madness. Napoli have had direct contact with Liverpool, right, through Fabrizio Romano, but the gap is still big. Liverpool are asking 65 to 70 million euro minimum. Napoli are far below that. So right now there is no agreement and the deal is not close. It needs time and patience. No, Fabrizio, what it needs is Napoli to either pay the money or disappear. It's that simple. Liverpool will not allow this to be lowball all the way through because Italian clubs, well, they've got a history of this, don't they? Wanting to get players on loans with potential deals to buy at the end of it or wanting them for next to nothing. They sold Kavicha Kvaratskhelia for good money. They're going to get good money for Victor Osimhen as well. Clubs know that and they're going to have to pay what clubs are asking or find other targets. And in Napoli's case, they do have another target. Right, Nico Shearer has said positive talks between Marc Guéhi's agents and Liverpool have given him the possibility to join the Reds, and they speak about a contract agreement between Liverpool and the player up until 2030. Liverpool, though, do have to continue to work with Crystal Palace on that fee. And look, an ideal transfer window for me would look something like this. Canade stays, signs a new deal. We bring in Marc Guéhi to replace Kwanzaa. Then we have Marc Guéhi, Ibrahima Canade, Virgil van Dijk, and Joe Gomez as the centre-back options for next season. That would be ideal. But in a worst-case scenario, we bring in Marc Guéhi. If Canade can't be convinced to sign a new deal or won't be sold, well then, in my opinion, put him on the bench for the season, like I've said, and bring in Jarell Haddo. And on that, Ben Jacobs said Liverpool have no plans to pay the 45 to 50 million pounds the Palace will ask for Marc Guéhi, and it would need to be well south of that bracket. Like I said, though, I do think somewhere between 35 40 million pounds could get that deal done. Liverpool are inclined to bring in a defender who is Kwanzaa's age or younger, unless a deal for Guéhi is simply too strong not to proceed with. There is appreciation for Jarell Haddo. I'm relaxed about either one of those, to be honest with you. Marc Guéhi, you get that experience, no doubt, but in Jarell Haddo, you could be bringing in somebody with a huge, huge future and somebody that we know our captain, Virgil van Dijk, really rates as well. So keep your eye on this situation, but either one of the two or both of them will be a fantastic window. Let's wait and see what happens. Right, let's move on to Build now, and they're saying that, well, somebody else might be in the mix for Hugo EKITIKE. They've said that Arsenal are now seriously considering a move for Hugo EKITIKE. Obviously, Šeško was the one that they've been negotiating on. They've also been linked with Viktor Gyökeres, but this piece here says that Arsenal have maybe turned their attention to Hugo EKITIKE. Sorry, George. If you're watching, you'll know what that means. If you don't know what it means, George is basically in our Discord group. Lovely young man. He's big on the idea of Liverpool signing EKITIKE, and, well, we love winding him up about it. So, let's talk about Arsenal here. Arsenal have concrete interest in Marc Guéhi and have made initial inquiries into a potential move for Guéhi, but have now turned their attentions to Valencia centre-back Christian Mosquera, meaning that, again, the avenues for Crystal Palace to maybe try to drum up a bidding war for Marc Guéhi are running down. He wants to go to Liverpool. Liverpool like the idea of signing him. Let's see where this one ends up. So, this piece here said Liverpool set Marc Guéhi condition. And again, it's from TalkSport's Alec Crook, and you can find this story on the Echo. See, Echo, it's not that hard to credit people. I do it with you guys all the time. So, feel free to mention Anfield Agenda on occasion in there, folks. We won't get upset. Liverpool will only move forward with their interest in Marc Guéhi if Crystal Palace significantly drop their valuation from £45 million. Like I've said, Liverpool aren't going to pay that high. And I get the irony in this, by the way. I get that Liverpool are asking for similar money for Ibrahima Canade, who was in the same position. I absolutely understand it. But again, we are hypocrites as football fans. We want to sell at the highest price and buy at the lowest price. So let's wait and see what happens with this one. I think there's a very good chance it happens, but let's wait and see. And finally, folks, Malik Fofana price. Liverpool have learned the asking price for Lyon winger Malik Fofana, with the club now facing a relegation to League 2, which I don't think that they will actually get. I think they will be able to appeal that and go into League next season. They'll also still be in the Europa League. This piece here from Caught Offside said that they're looking for a fee of about 45 or 50 million euro for Fofana this summer, which is about 38 to 42 million pound. And honestly, that seems fairly reasonable. So if Liverpool want Malik Fofana, if we do lose either Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, maybe even Chiesa, I think Liverpool will be well served to have a look at young Fofana of Lyon. And I'm sure that many of you guys probably agree. Right, see, I've done it. I've managed to talk about wingers and not bring up Anthony Gordon until now. But I've nothing else to add to that one. I just thought I'd throw it into upset a few people because I know it pushes your buttons, folks, sometimes. But let's wait and see. FOFANA, Gordon, either way, we will talk through it all tonight. 8:45 to the late night agenda. Can't wait to catch up with you all again. Missed you yesterday, of course, but we'll see you tonight. Much love. Bye-bye.